following presentation is for mature audiences only.
Who are you?
He's a fine man.
All hell is broken loose.
He's a great broadcaster.
He's a very powerful guy. Absolutely brilliant.
Feared by men, adored by women.
He's a smart boy. It's patriotic.
It's no big deal.
It's the end of the world. I might as well tell you now. He's a monkey.
And how you doing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? Welcome in to another edition of The Wild Side with Eric Clark. I am your host, Eric Clark, saying thank you for taking time out of your busy day to give my little video a watch and a listen. If you like it, like it. If you think other people are going to dig it, give it a share. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel and you're following me on any and all the social media I have linked down below. That way, if there's a band, song, video, something you'd like me to check out, you can hit me up with a DM or leave it in the comments below. If you are going to hit me with a DM, please, no spamming. And if you are going to leave it in the comments below, become a CONCURPA and join the I Concur Army. It is worldwide and growing, and it's very easy to join. All you have to do is give the comments a cursory glance. If you see that your suggestion's already been made, all you have to do is like that original comment and reply with I concur. It'll help my old burnout resin-coated DJ brain get everything into a nice little organized list, and I can get it into my handy-dandy notebook. My fourth handy-dandy notebook, by the way. So keep those suggestions coming. Also, we're live streaming twice a week. Wednesdays, 11 a.m., Saturdays, 2 p.m. Another opportunity for you to get hooked up with us and get your suggestion to me. And if you would like to help the channel grow, become a Patreon. Everything is linked down below. It's easier than my sister. I'm not that hard to find. Before we get started in today's video, I do want to say thank you to Connect 200 Music to See and Aunt Betty's Nut Butter. Today's video suggestion is coming from Facebook, Instagram, and a live stream. All different people, by the way. I forget what I do and what I don't do. So when people say, hey, have you done this yet? I'm like, I don't know. But luckily, I have great people working with me who are real quick to do the research and say, no, you have not done this. So today we are back on the Nightwish train, and we're going to the Montreux Jazz Festival, and we're checking out Nightwish with a net. I believe it's the Imaginarium tour along that line. I've got the DVD right there. It's Nightwish, Slow, Love Slow, live Montreux Jazz Festival. Let's check it out on the Wild Side.
Painting with me, unveiling of me, the magician that never fades. This deep sigh coiled around my chest, intoxicated by a major call. I wonder, do I love you or the thought of you? Slow. Southern blue, morning and dew, let down your guards, I love you. Ice cream castles, lips to erase, a slumber deeper than time. Slow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nightwish live from 2012, the Montreux Jazz Festival with Slow Love Slow from Imaginarium. Okay, so now I know what it would sound like if David Gilmour played guitar for Bessie Smith. All right, now we know what that would sound like. Very well done. Quite the departure from expectation, yet delivered in a very signature way. I almost believe that this is like an interlude, is what I would call this. This is like a, hey, let's do this, and then they pull it off. It still contains that Tubular Bells vibe going on, but man, he really captured. So what you're hearing jazz, right? So you're hearing the typical jazz sweep sound. The Dave Brubeck kind of bass and drum really setting the groove, because it's a groove. And when you're watching watching Yuka play the drums, even though he's barely sweeping with the brush, it still looks pneumatic. So I like how he's controlled in that request. So he's being asked to lay down this very subtle, this very demure type of foundation. And then what Marco's doing on the bass, what really struck me was that Marco was the one creating the tempo. So the bass was the one that, for me anyway, from what I heard, Marco was really the impetus of the momentum. So his bass line was really what was pushing the song forward, where what Yuka was doing on the drums was creating the clouds, if that makes any sense, which is, again, the departure. And you're hearing that really straight traditional jazz riff on the piano, yet it still has that signature Mike Oldfield, John Carpenter, signature Tuomas kind of a vibe going on. And what Annette's doing on the vocals, so when I say someone's been listening to real New Orleans jazz, like real New Orleans jazz, not just jazz, but New Orleans jazz. I spent over a year in Pensacola, Florida, which is right here from New Orleans, or Narlands, as you want to call it. And there's Mobile, Alabama, and Biloxi, Mississippi, and these cities that are on this little path of traditional jazz music and Mardi Gras and things like that. The original Mardi Gras was Mobile, Alabama, for example. Down in Pensacola, we had the Seville Quarter, kind of a vibe. New Orleans jazz is different. It holds the foundations, the usual time signatures, the usual ebb and flow between the bass and the drums and the piano or keys, but it's usually done in a different key. I don't know how to describe it. I'm not a music teacher, but you can hear the difference. If you listen to Spyro Gyra, you're going to get a different jazz than if you go down to the French Quarter and listen to what they're playing. It's not a Zydeco. It's a different tone, right? And I said, David Gilmour playing guitar for Bessie Smith, because Annette is really good at capturing the journey. So jazz is supposed to be tight. You're supposed to be in a pocket, but it's supposed to sound improv. It's supposed to sound improvisational. It's supposed to sound a little looser than a normal sound would be when coming out of, a speaker or music or something like that. So her vocals run this really cool range, your high register, your low register, different keys, but she maintains a thickness through it. So even when she's putting a damper on the air that she's projecting, there's still a strength to her vocals. And she carries that traditional sound very well. You can fill me in down below. I don't know if she has actual jazz vocal experience, but it sounds like she does. To me, it sounds like she has either sung a lot of jazz or she has studied a lot of jazz, because she understands the journey that vocals normally go on when used in jazz music. Really well done. Very well controlled, very well maintained. No stress, no running, no dropping. So you're not hearing her try to ramp into anything, and you're not hearing her tail off at the end of everything. So that's telling me that she has really good breath control. So she has really good breathing control in a song that at any moment could break out into a scat. So it's very well done, very well controlled. And I mentioned that David Gilmour part because of the tone that Empu brings. Again, man, this dude, he amazes me every time, because everything I'm hearing from him, he's creating these multi-tones, these different tones for different pieces, and yet they're very signature Empu. You can tell that that's him playing that solo there. And the way he does it, again, you can tell that people listen to stuff. You can tell that he's just not going to Tuomas and Tuomas going, hey, man, here's this thing, play it. You know, he understands where he needs to be in that pocket. And the tone that he creates, the word that you're looking for this track particularly, and it's really the dominating force from like halfway on. Once he comes in, he takes over. That tone takes over. So what you're hearing, I've said this before, the only word you can use to describe that is menthol. Very menthol. So what I mean by that, and it's a joke, we use it as a joke sometimes to describe each other in radio, the menthol tones of Jake Wilde, right, kind of a thing. But when you hear it played on a guitar, you're like, yeah, dude, that's a menthol track right there. That's evergreen. That's pine needles. That's the smell of the forest on a morning where the mist is just barely risen off the ground. You know, very fresh, yet very not muted. So there's a show on TV called MASH years ago. Harry Morgan played Colonel Potter, and somebody had brought him a bottle of scotch or whiskey or something, and he took a drink, and he said something that will forever be a descriptor for me. It's a brilliant line, and I've used it thousands of times to describe things like I just saw. But when you watch Empu play, all I could think was not enough O's and smooth to describe that. There really aren't, man. That was just really as light and gentle as it was. It was thick and rich. And then he comes in with that, you know, the second side of Momentary Lapse of Reason by Pink Floyd. David Gilmour has this guitar part, I think it's Terminal Frost, that is just an incredible tone. It's just a weeping, forceful, vulgar, yet welcoming guitar piece. That's what that reminded me of. So that's why I said that would be David Gilmour playing for Bessie Smith. And yes, I know who Bessie Smith is. When I was in Chattanooga, our radio station did the Bessie Smith strut every year. But anyway, so well done. Again, a departure, but because you have so much trust in who's creating it, and because they continue to maintain certain elements, you know, like Marco's vocals, he does that really cool thing where you think he's going to go one direction and he goes another. So they're still maintaining their signatures within this piece. But man, they really, like, if you never saw them or heard of them before, you would think that's a jazz band. They're missing a horn section, but that's fine. But yeah, that was very well done. Very smooth, good pocket, good groove, good vocals, good tones, everything about that track. As usual, man, this is Nightwish. These guys are playing on cheat code all the time. So I haven't heard a bad track from them yet. Very well done. Thank you very much, chat, for the suggestion. Keep those suggestions coming. If you have a suggestion, you can hit me up on social media. Leave it in the comments below. Become a Patreon member. Everything is linked down below. I'm not that hard to find. Seriously. Plus, we're live streaming Wednesdays, 11 a.m., Saturdays, 2 p.m. Another chance for you to get your suggestion to me or figure out how to get your suggestions to me. Thank you to Connect 200 Music to See and Aunt Betty's Nut Butter, and thank you to all of you for taking time out of your busy day being awesome to give my little video a watch and a listen. Make sure you're looking out for each other. Make sure you're looking out for your neighbor. Try to do at least one good thing a day. I am Eric Clark. You are the best darn subscribers in the world, and this is The Wild Side.